So I've been asking for questions on social media also, and a lot of people are still absolutely fascinated and interested by the stories of your life and what happened when you went out there. So I am going to, and I know you've repeated some of this in the past, but I'm going to take the occasion to ask you again. So starters, when you went from here back, when you went from here to America, you've often said that you really enjoyed that feeling of freedom that you had at that time. You could be anonymous, you could go to shops, you could go to malls, you could do all of that. Was there ever a time when you actually had the feeling of going to somebody and saying, "Tum janti ho main kaun hu"? I'm going to flip the question a bit from what you've often heard lots of times.
Going to someone and saying, "Do you know who I am?"
Well, in the sense that you went to a shop, you went to somebody, some cop stopped you and said, "You have an ID card, who on earth are you?" And you say, "People know who I am."
Yeah, not really, because you know how Indians are everywhere today. Even in Denver, we did have Indians there who did recognize me. When I used to go shopping or grocery, sometimes, you bump into people, you meet another Indian while you're picking up tomato and gobi and all that. And they're like, "Hey, hello, it's great to see you." And you say, "Yeah, how are you?" It's so courteous, it's so nice. They just say, "Oh, we love you, we love your movies," and stuff like that. And they do respect the fact that, it's your private moment and you should be left alone. And they say, "We just wanted to tell you that." And, they kind of go their way. But sometimes, it used to get a little scary for me because I had just started driving there. And, I used to go to strange, like, I'm just trying to find addresses and stuff like that for the first time. I've never done that in India, right? Because I always had people with me wherever I went. So for me, it was also a little scary going out on your own, not having anyone to, kind of just take you there. That's what we were used to in India, right? We just sit in the car and the driver just takes you there. Sometimes you don't even know where you're going and he just takes you there. And you have to find it on your own. तभी थोड़ा कभी-कभी लगता था, I wish people would recognize me and they would say, "No, you're going the wrong way. Go that way, that's the way you want to go." But, that you have to discover everything yourself.
And of course, the big problem that you will increasingly be facing going forward, and especially with Satya Namas, when people are coming up to you and you're not expecting it, is that earlier they would ask you for autographs, and that's fine. Now everyone asks you for a selfie. And you're saying, "My God, look at the way my hair is."
Yeah, the day you have oil in your hair and you think nobody's going to see you today, and you're like the shabbily dressed, and you're like, "I just want to go out, just get a pair of something, milk, lana hai, bachon ke liye," and you just step out, and that's the day you're going to meet someone. Saying that, "Can we have a picture?" And you're like, "Oh my God, now she's going to have a picture with me, looking like this." So it does happen sometimes.
And what did you say? "Can I give you an autograph?"
Let's do it. Because they're your fans.
So there are all those pictures of Madhuri Dixit out there with oil in her hair somewhere on the internet, which people can now go and find. Can we put them all up in this? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And is it, actually, again, this question I'm sure you've been asked, but is it actually true that you had absolutely no idea of who she was?
So no one believes it, but I grew up in LA and I worked at UCLA and with a lot of the celebrities, but I hadn't grown up watching Indian films. And so the way we put it is everyone put their pants on one leg at a time and you needed to treat them the same way. And so my parents moved to London in '63 and then to the US in '73 and really hadn't kept close ties to the Hindi films or anything else, unlike many Indians, I must say. But as a result of that, it was refreshing for her because I think one thing she didn't bring out to your question is that anonymity has its benefits. And them asking her who she was not a bad thing always, because here it's the opposite way, that she can't go anywhere. And she's a prisoner of her own fate, which is a good thing. But on the other hand, sometimes it makes you very, how should I put it, constrained. Even in Denver and any of the big cities like LA when we got married, there were a lot of Indians. And so it was an issue. But to answer your question, I really didn't know because I didn't grow up watching the films. I couldn't speak Hindi. I spoke Marathi fluently. And so for me, the Hindi films didn't have a draw. I'd only seen 2 films. One was Amar Akbar Anthony, and the other one was Pakiza, which my mom had an 8-track tape, and she would have in our car all the time. And I knew like all the lyrics to the songs.
So have you watched all of her films by now or not yet?
I've seen the ones where, so there's 2 rules in our house. One is we never talk shop. So all of her awards, all of her other stuff is all at the office. And she doesn't want the kids or us to be affected. That's how she grew up. The second is that I've been to some of the film premieres, and that's what I've seen, but she's not very comfortable watching films with family. And so for me, watching them separately is kind of an odd thing. And so really, I've seen the ones since we were married. We've been married for 18 years. And so I've seen those only, and maybe a little bit from Hum Apke Hai Kaun and Dil To Pagal Hai, but not a
You're
whole
trying
lot
to tell
else.
me everybody in this hall has seen more Madhuri
I'm
movies
sure.
than you have.
Yes.
For more Bollywood updates, subscribe now to youtube.com/biscuittv.